United States had just topped their World Cup group, on home soil, at their own World Cup, and 15 minutes later, their manager walked into a press conference and picked a fight with the media. Because according to Mauricio Pochettino, nobody had congratulated him, not one person. And what happened next turned a meaningless group stage defeat into one of the most controversial moments of the tournament so far. Because this wasn't really about Turkey. It wasn't really about momentum. And it definitely wasn't about winning 3 group games. This was about respect. On paper, the story looked simple. Turkey 3, USA 2. Late winner, bad result, bad headlines. Except the headlines were missing one very important detail. The USA had already won the group. Before kickoff, job done, mission accomplished. The knockout rounds were waiting, so Pochettino did exactly what elite managers do in tournaments. He rotated, not 2 players, not 3, 9 changes. Christian Pulisic rested, key legs protected, because Pochettino wasn't thinking about Turkey. He was thinking about the next 3 matches. Turkey needed survival. America needed recovery. Completely different priorities. Then came the 98th minute. Turkey scored. The crowd groaned. The headlines were written, USA lose. And suddenly nobody cared that America had finished first. The journalists expected explanations. Instead, Pochettino attacked first. He sat down, looked around the room, and before a single question was asked, he fired. Turkey celebrate 3 points. Australia celebrate qualification. Paraguay celebrate qualification. Then came the line. And nobody says congratulations because we won the group. The room froze because managers aren't supposed to do that. Managers answer questions. Managers don't accuse journalists of disrespect. But Pochettino wasn't interested in playing the game. Not tonight. Then came the question that changed everything. Momentum. A reporter asked whether losing this match could damage America's momentum heading into the knockout rounds. Pochettino paused, looked genuinely confused, then asked, "What is momentum?" The room laughed, the internet exploded, and suddenly football fans everywhere picked sides. Honestly, whose side are you on here? Because this one split people right down the middle. Was Pochettino protecting his players? Or was he avoiding criticism? Drop your answer below because there really isn't a middle ground. The reporter tried to explain. Pochettino wasn't buying it, because in his world, momentum isn't a thing you lose in the 98th minute of a game you didn't need to win. Momentum comes from training, preparation, belief, recovery, not one scoreline. And if we're being fair, he might have a point. If France rotated 9 players and lost after already qualifying, would anyone panic? If Brazil did it, would it become a crisis? Probably not. So why was America different? Then came the question that pushed him over the edge. A journalist pointed out that the United States had missed a chance to make history. 3 wins from 3, something no American World Cup team had ever achieved. That late goal had cost them a place in the record books. Pochettino stared at him, paused, then delivered the coldest quote of the tournament so far. Making history is winning the World Cup. Pause. Not winning 3 matches in the group stage. Another pause. You are thinking too small. Game over. Because whether you agree with him or not, that line goes unbelievably hard. And here's the uncomfortable truth. He's not wrong. 3 group wins become a statistic. Winning the World Cup becomes immortality. Those are not the same thing. But here's the question nobody is asking. What if this wasn't a meltdown at all? What if it was deliberate? Because great tournament managers love creating one thing. An enemy. Sir Alex Ferguson did it. Jose Mourinho built careers on it. Us against them. Nobody respects us. Nobody believes in us. Nobody gives us credit. Sound familiar? Imagine you're an American player watching that press conference. Your manager is publicly defending you, protecting you, telling the world that finishing first still matters. That changes dressing rooms. That builds loyalty. That creates belief. Maybe Pochettino wasn't angry. Maybe he was building a siege mentality. And if that's true, it might have worked perfectly. Because here's the uncomfortable conversation underneath all of this. Would the media have reacted this way if it was Argentina? Would they have focused on the defeat if it was France? Would Brazil top the group and spend the next day defending themselves? Or are expectations for the United States still completely different? Because that's what Pochettino seemed to believe. Not that his team had failed, that his team wasn't being taken seriously. And honestly, that's a very different different argument. So I want your opinion on this one too. Did the media disrespect the USA? Or was Pochettino simply unable to accept criticism? Football fans are going to argue about this one for years, because now the pressure gets real. The group stage is over. The knockout rounds begin. Lose once, go home. And now Pochettino has done something dangerous. He's raised expectations, because after telling the world that winning the group isn't history, there's only one place left to go, the final. Anything less than a deep run now becomes part of the conversation. Semi-finals, quarter-finals, round of 16 exit, every result from this point forward gets judged against one sentence. Making history is winning the World Cup. That's a huge thing to say, especially as the host nation, especially in front of your own fans, especially when the whole football world is watching. 25 journalists, 1 press conference, 0 congratulations, and a manager who decided he was going to congratulate himself. Unhinged? Maybe. Calculated? Possibly. Entertaining? Absolutely. But one thing became clear that night. Mauricio Pochettino didn't come to America to make history by winning 3 group games. He didn't come to collect records. He didn't come to impress journalists. He came to win the World Cup. And after watching that press conference, you get the feeling he genuinely believes he can. The scary part? His players might be starting to believe it too.